Debating about Hello, everyone. Thank you for sticking around. We're having some technical difficulties, and we're here now. So let the games begin. I do apologize. The technical difficulties are part of the game, unfortunately. Just trying to make it happen and keep it happening for you guys. I do appreciate you guys sticking around. Things are a little bit different today as I am in Las Vegas for a convention. Thank you, Mudbone 1950, for sticking around. You wanted to stay anonymous, but you couldn't because, yeah, I understand. Let's see. We have Deb Baylor. Hey, Deb. Thanks for sticking around. And Cookie Mama 37. We have Butter Love. Thank you guys for coming in and sticking around. And we're going to start this talk tonight, which is bound to be one of very interesting topics. Again, you may have some hiccups here and there because I'm not in my surroundings, and it's a little difficult when you're not in your regular surroundings. So let me make sure that you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me and see me, put a 1 in the chat, please. I just need to make sure that we are all on here and on the same page and in one accord, okay? So if you can hear me and see me, please put a 1 in the chat. Let's go back. All right. Thanks, Deb. Thank Mudbone. Appreciate you guys sticking around. This is Love's Passion Chat, where we normal people talk about sex, love, and relationship. Just hanging out and making conversation. I am Love's Passion. I am a certified certified clinical sexologist and master life coach. I come to you every Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I know we're a little late right now, but it's going to be on time next time, okay? So I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you're new to Twitch, do please make sure you follow, like, and share this post. If you're listening on Facebook or YouTube, like and subscribe, please. Like and subscribe. We appreciate your attention to detail. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Love's Passion Chat. Today, our topic is, when is the best time to start that conversation? And that conversation meaning having the sex talk with your children. I am a mother of 4, and I've had to do this numerous times. And each time it got a little easier. You learn a lot when you talk about sex to your children because you filter what you say. And we're going to discuss that part too. So please get ready to jump into this chat. I'm going to go ahead and add our beautiful Peanut Butter to the chat. Hey, Miss Peanut Butter. Hey, girl, can you hear me?
Hey, look.
Okay, there we
Yes,
go.
I can.
All right. So, you ready for this topic tonight?
Just about as ready as I'm gonna be when I talk to the kids.
Okay. So, you've had that talk with your children already?
Yes, all of my
Of
kids are
course.
grown
I'm
now.
sorry. Who am I talking
Yeah.
to? Well, yeah, but hey, coming up, did you have that talk? I mean, we're going to dig deep
No.
into it. We're going to dig deep into it.
Oh my God.
So, what do
Okay.
you think about this topic?
I think this is a very good topic because it's time to break the generational curse. Because most people, like I'm 44. That was the elephant in the room. You
Mm,
they didn't. Not all parents prepared their children. Trust me.
right,
So I
right.
think the more that the kids understand, the less likely they will use stuff from TV and letting that influence them, because TV, media, social media, music, it all plays a role in kids learning about that. It's some shit kids listen to now that I never would have thought to listen to. Oh, I'm old, right?
You are not old, you're just seasoned. There's no such thing as old. I do apologize. I'm
I'm
going in and out here. I'm trying to make my connection a little bit better. So, y'all in the chat, please just bear with us, or me, because it's me. I ain't gonna lie, it is me. So, technical difficulties happen, and I'm trying to keep this flowing even though life keeps going. Okay. And I'm going to do my best to be here every Sunday like clockwork. I know we are starting a whole lot late, but we may stay a little longer because this topic deserves a period in our lifetime where we are really discussing it. Um, we are uh,
Deb is backstage.
she's a what?
Deb is backstage. She ready.
I don't see her. Let me let me do something. Let me see. I think she might be in the wrong stream because we had to start this one over. So let me make sure she has the right topic. Give me a moment. Just a moment, please.
Okay, then I'll run my mouth.
Go ahead, run your mouth.
Okay. So I have 5 children. They are 28 to 19. And I had this talk with all of them. Um, I really started when they were younger, teaching them the different body parts and all that type of thing, because kids needs to know. Kids need to know. So that's where I started. And one thing we never do is we never talk baby talk to our kids. So when they were babies, we started off so they can understand.
Right.
But
Right.
even now, here's the thing: parents must understand. Even though you talk to them about it during as kids and younger or whatever age, they're still going to come to you as adults. There's some things you might not want to hear, but they're going to ask you.
Right. This is so true. So let me because this topic came around because I was reading an article and they were saying that they have video of a fetus that was 20 plus weeks, and the fetus was masturbating inside the mom's belly. And so I said, that would really change the game if that were true. And they did show the video, but video can be altered. So I did some more digging. And what I found was that hand coordination and muscle memory is not formed in a fetus. That's formed during their growth spurt times outside of the mother's belly. And I just was like, who is trying to push this agenda? Because I as I know with my kids and I'm watching my grandkids and my god babies, I'm like, they can't even hold a bottle when they come out of the belly. So how is this fetus to have this muscle eye coordination to self-pleasure themselves? I'm just like, what's the purpose? It just didn't make any sense to me as to why someone would put that out there if you ever had a baby. I mean, did your babies have perfect hand-eye coordination? Even
no.
the week of. No, I mean, they weren't even moving their hands. Right. So I'm just like, I take everything and I ingest it and then I do some research because, that's how you keep yourself safe and straight and sane. Because that was mind blowing for me. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If this is something that's just an innate nature for masturbation, then yes, that is changing the game on when you talk to your child about sex. Because
that's the case. I should have had sex talking too.
Exactly. Because it starts a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
So in looking in hindsight, with that in mind, I started thinking about when did I have the sit down, talk with my children. And I know that with my son, I found that it was a later time than with my daughter. With my daughter, it was like an ongoing conversation. It was never we're going to sit down and actually talk about sex and the body and the changes. Because, my motto is sex is an everyday thing. It's something you deal with when you wake up, from the time you go to bed, and sometimes in your dreams. So, and I really had to do some soul searching and questioning. Why did you have to actually sit down and have a actual talk with your son, but you didn't do it with your daughter? And
but you know what, whether you believe it or not, you actually have that sex talk with your kid, not in depth, but as they're going to the bathroom, learning to be potty trained. When you name that part, say, hey, nobody's touch you there, That's when it starts. And people don't want to We just teaching our kids not to let nobody touch them. But why? Why
Right.
are you teaching them that?
Right. Right.
Why are you teaching
Right.
that? So whether people believe it or not, when you first start potty training your child, because when we first said that we were gonna have this talk, I was like, when did I really start talking to them? When my kids first started being potty trained, we named it the Winky, the Peter, whatever the case
Right.
may be.
And you do
Oh,
damage by giving them those names because
right.
you're calling it Winky and Peter, but
But
the
that is
predator
not
is
a
going
damage.
to touch his
It's not a damage. I'm
penis.
gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Uh, goes back to me writing my book in the guidelines.
Hmm.
So in the guidelines, it tells you to teach your children the different private parts, right? Name them so that if something happens to them in an uncontrolled environment, they can come and tell mom and dad, "Hey, my Peter hurts." So mom and dad can pull them to the side and say, "Okay, talk to dad. Tell me what's going on with Peter." Nobody else knows who Peter is but the dad and the mom. So
Hmm.
that's when sex talk begins, because people are not waiting for these kids to become of age or know what sex is. They're doing whatever they want to do to them now.
Right.
Two,
Okay. So
3 years old.
Deb is here. We're gonna bring her in. Everyone, this is my the co-host, the beautiful Deb, and she is absolutely amazing. She is a mother. She's an
Yes,
entrepreneur. This woman
yes.
is amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and add her to our call. Hey, Deb. Hey,
Hey,
girl.
Hey
We
y'all, how
doing
y'all doing?
we doing this
fine,
thing. So
fine.
you heard the topic.
Yes,
Are you ready?
yes.
Okay. So what you got to say about this here topic?
Well, first of all, peanut butter great minds. Okay. I guess this
Oh,
will be
okay,
your topic for
right.
today. Sorry to
Pop
interrupt
out.
because I was watching. Um, but I think we spoke a little bit about this week. I have my opinions about the sex talk. I think it um, should start at an early age, like um, peanut butter was saying, because of just the realities of life, you know, and just educating them, about their body, and I think it should happen at an early age. So, but we'll get into that.
Oh yeah. So I'm a so the naming of the body parts. Research shows that we do damage by giving them names like Winky and Wiener and Lollipop
And
or
PP,
Cooter, because you're not really teaching them the technical terms. You don't have to say dick or pussy. It's penis and vagina, so that they are aware of their bodies, so that they are aware of those parts of the body. It's sort of like teaching anatomy and you're renaming the parts of the body. So research has shown that we're doing damage by giving them these cute little wootsy wootsy names and associating something other than what it is to its body part. You
And,
don't,
and I get that, but what is it? Oh my God. Okay. Here's my thing. I understand what you're saying. But at 2, 3 years old, vagina and penis is not exactly what you want to teach them. Now, when they get older, yes, you can let them know, hey, we named it Mr. Peter because of this, and this, but this is your penis. I get what you're
mhm,
saying. And it's not something that they have to take with them throughout life because, just like we developed and learned things, they're going to learn as well. But
yes,
as being a little kid, you have to think protection wise
right.
because if something happens to them and we don't take care of it in real time,
Mhm.
then it flows over, you
Right.
know.
So
So
I'm just saying like for people that are dealing in investigations with child molestation, and you've given
Mhm.
that body part a name that is common for something else. Winky, the cartoon character, they're trying to express what happened to him, but they're saying, well, Winky got touched on his head, Winky touched Robert touched Winky on his head, and they may be referring to the cartoon character or something else that is associated with that name, versus not being able to say, because for investigation purposes, the from CPS standpoint, they're saying that when you give these names, it makes it hard for the child to differentiate between what's right, what's wrong, because some of these cutesy wootsy names that we give the children's body parts, they are associated with something else, and
I understand where you're coming from.
More of, when the child is having to tell what's happened to them, they don't want to show, but they have to show because they don't know what Winky is. That's y'all's secret little thing. That's how y'all communicate, versus a universal language of, these are your breasts, this is your vagina, this is your penis. You don't have to give them a slang. Huh?
Can you picture a 2-year-old saying, saying, he touched my vagina?
Yes.
I mean, I can't. Yes. Children are brilliant.
Right. Yes.
I mean,
my mom told me that this is my vagina and you're not supposed to touch it. My mom told me this is my lollipop and you cannot touch it. Do you understand? It is very important that you give the child the name of the body part and not rename it after something, cutesy wootsy, to make it comfortable for you to say, because we don't walk around saying, this is my vagina, this is my penis. He had a penis, I have a vagina. He has breasts, I don't have breasts, I have chest. When you put it in relation to when they have to say, what they are learning, you want to know that they are understanding what, don't put more questions in their heads than they already have.
Right. Because the reality is that a lot of children have had that conversation with someone at CPS.
Right.
Right. And that may be how they identified. So there's really no clarity. So I totally get that. It never went there in my mind.
Right. You're protecting your child by giving them the knowledge, because just like it's uncomfortable for you to say it to a child, a predator, it's uncomfortable for them to say it to a child, but he can say, I got a lollipop. Let me touch your lollipop. I got a woohoo. Let me touch your woohoo. See, this says woohoo. Let me touch your woohoo. It's okay because it's on this candy. You set your child up for failure when you don't give them the proper information, because we've been known to make it up or sugarcoat the truth just to be comfortable with the conversation and kind of soften it down. You can soften it without making it something other than what it is. This is your buttocks. It's not your comfy pillows or your 2 puffs in the back. These are not clouds, they're breasts. These are things that are off limits for other people to touch in simple form. And then when you go into the conversation of having the talk, it's much easier than saying, well, daddy puts his lollipop in mama's woohoo, and that's how babies are made. Just like you sitting there laughing, it's confusing because they're going to get a lollipop and they're going to get a woohoo, and they're like, I'm going to put this lollipop and I'm going to put this woohoo together and we're going to make a baby.
No, I get what you're saying. No, listen. With mine, the way I did it is from 0 to 3. They had their little cutesy name. But when they became 4 years old and they were going to start pre-K and kindergarten, I said, okay, this is this. I gave them the medical term for it so that they know if they have to go to a teacher, what to say. Mm-hmm. When they're at school, because my kids didn't go to daycare. Right. The agreement that me and my husband made was I start working after the last kid goes into school. And I agreed to that because, we wouldn't have to pay for daycare, and I really got to spend time with my kids. Right. So when they got ready to go to pre-K or whatever, the summer before, I actually sat down and talked to whichever kid was going to go to school and told them what their body parts was. Make sure nobody does this. Da 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 da. I went through that whole spiel. My mom told me I was wrong, but these are my kids. You know, my mom birds
You
and bees
weren't wrong.
talk was she put out a banana book and said, "This is a Peter, this is a vagina, this hurt, don't do it." Don't do
Mm,
what? What am
mm.
I not doing? So I
So if
made
you're
I
in
made it's levels.
so what you said 0 to 3. So what age did you start the conversation?
With my boys, I started around 2 because Lord Jesus, I'm glad he not on her. But my now 21-year-old says, "Mom, it won't go down." I was like, "What's wrong? What won't go down? It won't go down." He's pointing, he's pointing at his Peter. And I said, "Come here, let mama talk to you and tell you what's going on with you." I had to stop laughing first because I was like, "Oh my God, they didn't come out already knowing this. I got to teach this to them." So I
Right,
explained to him why it wouldn't go down. You know, when he has to pee pee, it's going to do that. And then his brother
right.
was trying to tell him, and it was hilarious. But at the end of the day, you know, the point got across. And I was like, "Hey, why am I doing this? They got a dad in here." I was like, "Dude, come tell these guys what's going on with their body." Because I don't
Right.
know.
Deb,
But
what age did you
it's
start
cool.
talking to your kids about sex?
Well, I only have one daughter, and today I was taking her back to school, and she actually recalled. She said her earliest memory of me talking to her about her body and sex. She said today it was 6 or 7. So, and that's about. I talked to her really um, as soon as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I am guilty because I called it a pee-pee. But I made sure that she was very much aware of what I was talking about. But I'm guilty of calling it that, when she at that age.
Right,
But I've been having this conversation with her as early as I could.
right.
Because when we were talking, earlier this week, I was saying that I'm really good at keeping a secret. And one of the reasons is because I kept a secret when I was a very young girl, for 2 years, from the first grade through the third grade. And if I think if someone had been having that conversation with me at an early age, I think that it might have been a different story.
Mm.
You know,
That's a good point. Well, first, if you're in the chat, what age did you start talking to your children about sex? But Deb, that's a good point, because the conversation about sex and sexual relations should also include secrets and how important secrets are to not keep.
mm-hmm.
What secrets you keep, what secrets you don't keep. Because the pillar of the Black community family, they hold secrets. They hold them for dear life because that's what we were taught. You don't tell. And most pedophiles, they do run rampant on the secret part of it.
Right.
Don't tell us I'm going to kill your mom, or don't tell, this is our little secret. You're my special little bum. You're my special
Mm-hmm.
little lollipop.
Mm-hmm. I literally told my daughter, I said, no one should be touching you there unless you're at the doctor, or if it's me, and if something should be wrong, and I said, if anyone ever touches you, I need you to tell me right away. I said, I don't care if they tell you they're going to hurt me. I said, that's what they do, Honor, to keep you from telling, so
Right.
I need you to just promise me that you will always, communicate that with me, because like I said, I was I was sexually abused as a little girl by my mother's boyfriend from the first grade through the third grade. And it wasn't until after that, and I was 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old, that my mother sat us down and had that conversation, because I have had that conversation with someone from CPS.
Mm.
So
Wait a
We
minute.
got
Wait a minute. Did y'all just read the comment?
from
Did you say
Mudbone 1950. He says in total anonymity. Lo, I have 13 children, so after the first 3, I would decide with their mothers and let them handle it, and call me if she was at a loss for words.
13?
13.
Baby Papa.
I think he was more versed to be able to have that conversation than anybody.
yeah, bring Mudbone in.
Mudbone 13. You know what to say. You should know what to say.
Yeah.
So right. So Deb, you only have a daughter. Peanut butter. You have a daughter and you have sons. Did you find it harder to have that conversation with your sons versus your daughter, or vice versa?
I had a class. Everybody was in a class.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find it difficult.
When my brother, I love you, big bro. My brother is like one of those don't wait type people. You need to talk to them now because of the things that we've been through.
Mm-hmm.
So I provided the condoms and the bananas. We set up chairs in the living room. I grabbed a pack of cigarettes and a case of strawberries, and I got my slideshow together. And I was like, "Hey, we finna do this." And my daughter's like, "I gotta do it too." Yes, you have to do it too. But here was the part of telling them about their emotions and how it may feel and may not feel. I did that individually because my kids are like the first 2 are like 3 years apart, and then it's a 25, then a 21, 20, 19-year-old. So I felt like that needed to be done collectively because boys need to learn about girls and girls need to learn about boys. That's the problem. We always want to talk to girls about what this is, that is. No. Everybody needs to know about everybody. Boys need to know about women when they go through their cycle. They need to know why they're feeling this way, what you need to do, that type of stuff. Like I send my boys on a task to buy pads for their sister. And the reason why, because I wanted them to be comfortable. And I told them, they kind of got mad, but I told them, I said, boys, you're going to grow up, you're going to have daughters, and your wife's not going to be around. What are you going to do? Right. And they just looked at me and was like, okay, mama. I said, now your task is look the size of your sister, and I want you to go tell me what size she needs to get. They come in sizes? Yes, they do. But I felt like I didn't want my kids to be in the dark about anything. Right. I want them to know all of it, because I look at my brothers, I look at my sisters, and we're PKs, so it's a lot of things that they kept from us. They kept that your first time was gonna hurt like shit. They kept that from us. I told my kids, even the boys, I say, hey, there's a possibility, even though you're wearing a condom, that it's going to be very uncomfortable because you've never done this before. And they was like, it is, mama. I said, yes, once you make it past that, it'll get enjoyable. It's supposed to be something you enjoy. And they was looking, but it's going to hurt first? Yes, strap up.
So you have a conversation about the technical parts of sex. When did you have the conversation? Say again?
Hold on. We talked about kissing last week, and we were saying that we don't tell our kids. No, when my kids hit the last 3, my oldest son already knew because he had already had a girlfriend. They was already doing some shit they ain't had no business. But my 3 younger ones, they're like a year apart. So I sat down with them and I was like, listen, you're getting to this age to where you're going to want to kiss girls. You're going to see girls that you like. You boys probably want to grab booties, whatever, because this is when they finna get ready to start playing football, sports and stuff. So girls looking at the quarterback, all that kind of stuff. This is
Right.
almost toward junior high school, right? So I'm looking at 8 through 10.
Right.
They're 8, 9, and 10. And my daughter's in the middle. She's 9. And I sat down with them and I told them, hey, when you kiss for the first time, it's gonna feel all tingly and you're gonna feel like you have butterflies. That's normal. And my son said, butterflies. Look like what? No, it's okay. I'm telling you, parents, in a point where you're having this talk, you're gonna crack your ass up. You're gonna laugh
Right.
because they're gonna say something like, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" But it's okay. I went through the emotional because I knew they were gonna feel some type of way. Then they were gonna have an attitude when they come home, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was gonna be ready to knock them out. So to
Right.
prevent all that, I'm telling you what's going to happen.
Mudbone 1950. Sorry, Mudbone 1950 says, I'm a Baptist preacher's oldest child. So he's a PK too. And mom brought books back from the library in the 50s and put them in the bathroom, so you had to read something. That's a way of talking and not talking all at the same time. So
yeah,
that might be information, but we're not having this conversation.
Right. Did you go to the bathroom? You was in there a long time. I know you read them books. Because
they had illustration back then. They did not have illustration.
Right, they did. Well, look, some of them did. The Betty Boops, they had cartoon illustrations. They might not have had pictorial.
Hey, back up off. Don't do that. Hold up. Sorry,
look, you know where that Betty Boop come from. She was a pinup girl. That's how you got the pinup girl. Why you think? I'm a back up. Oh, Vicky Wallace says, I had 2 but raised 4 boys. I had to talk about good and bad touch when they were young. I believe I talked to them about sex when they were teens, but the conversation makes me want to check in with them now.
Right.
Yes.
Mudbone says her exact response.
You remember I told you start teaching them young that when they become adults, they come and ask you stuff. Now, my kids are 25, 28, 21, 20, and 19. And they all have some point in their adulthood came and said, Mama, I want to try to do this. Now, how's the best way to do this without hurting myself? And I'm like, are you seriously coming? You do know I'm your mama. Well, you made it that way. So that's why I said, parents, make sure that when you have this talk as an adult, they're going to come back and ask you some more stuff. So be ready. Get your cigarettes, your drink, whatever, because they're coming for you.
Right.
It's coming.
Right.
But that's really a blessing, though, because, I mean, a lot of people don't get that much information from their parent. If they come to you and y'all have in-depth, conversations, that's really good, because I don't think, and I know myself personally, I've had the talk, but I hadn't went in depth in the emotions and all that part. Wish I could go back, because you teach me, like I say, you always teach me something, but she's 19 now. But
it's not over.
I mean,
it's just
if they come and go and y'all go that deep, that's really really great.
Look, that conversation can be had. Yeah, that conversation can be had all the time. I mean, your children will never stop coming to you as long as you're an open book with them and you're honest to them, because children hate being deceived. The Santa Claus. We tell them all these fairy tales, the things that they find out when they get older, and that stuff really does mess with your psyche. So if you're open and honest to them with them about sex, that conversation will never stop. It's never too late to talk about sex, emotions, because sex and emotional connections are hand in hand. It's not just the mechanics of it. You got to tell them the ins and outs of, when you lay down with one person, 2 people are going to come up. You don't just do the motions and then that's it and that's over. You have a lifelong connection with that person, no matter if it's a one night stand. What is wrong with you? Or not?
Sorry. Oh, who is
Mudbone says at 71 years old, USG, they would have talked rather than have us read about the bees and birds. Maybe I wouldn't have had 13 kids, 26 grands, and 4 great grands now. So true. If you educate your children from the get-go, they don't have to go looking for answers and making the mistakes that you made. Educate your children so that you don't have to watch them relive your mistakes even worse. My daughter, she is 27 years old, about to be 28. She has no kids, lost her virginity at 26. And I was there for the whole spiel of it. So my son, he's 21, married, has he's the one who has my grandchild. There for the whole spill of it. I talked to him and his wife about sex and relationship and, commitment, compassion, and emotional connections, and, how to maintain that, how to keep the sex life good in a marriage. It's important that you be honest and open with your children. They will respect you for it and love you later.
Child, they get on my nerves. You can have these.
And I think it's and like Miss Vicky said, she wants to check in. She wants to check in. Everybody should check in with their girls,
check in
with their sons, because a lot of people are hiding secrets, and a lot of people have not dealt with those secrets.
Right.
And it's sometimes if you ask, you might be surprised.
Exactly.
You would be very, very surprised.
I think as parents, we wait for our kids to come to us and ask us those pertinent questions. Don't wait. Because the thing is, like with my nephews and my nieces, I see them exhibiting sexual traits. And that's when I'm pulling them to the side. Hey, this is what you're doing when you're doing this. And this is what you're promoting. My great niece. No. She's my first niece. My niece. She's 7. And she's on TikTok. And she's just shaking her booty and doing the dances to the songs. And I'm like, you 7. And she's doing this on her mother's TikTok, which is grown men on this TikTok. And I'm like, okay, let me grab you for a minute and we're going to have a whole conversation, because it's obviously everybody is looking at you as a child, but what you're doing is not childhood, behaviors. My nephew, when he started grabbing pillows and spending time in the bedroom a little longer than normal, it was time to have that talk. When you see something, say something. Don't wait till it's too late. That's my.
You know what? I think I made it feel like my kids could come talk to me about anything, and sometimes it makes me uncomfortable. That's what I would tell the parents. It makes you uncomfortable, but you have to tell them because you don't want them to learn the wrong way. Right. And I think that was when I had my first child. I was like, I'm gonna make sure my kid knows everything. And one of my rules to myself was I would never lie to my kids. I never told my kids there was a Santa Claus. I never said shit about an Easter bunny, leprechauns, none of that. Hey, none of that is real. What you want, me and your daddy or your grandparents, because I had a whole village. We go get it for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like even now, and I think I told you guys this story, my kids are so comfortable with me that my son was like, Mom, what was that disease you said with the sores get on you? I said, well, what's going on? Well, I got a sore and I'm gonna take a picture. Hold on, don't take no pictures, bruh. I don't want to see your junk. Pause. Wait a minute.
Look,
did you shave?
I want to see. Let me see, because I'm gonna be your best information source. Let me see. I don't care. Let me see. I draw a line and say it. Look, but if you have a daughter and you ready to go in and see her woo-hoo push out a baby, you can see a penis with a sore on it to make sure it's not a certain, chlamydia. Make sure it's not just a scrape,
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what's really crazy is I actually watched I was sitting like maybe 5 inches away from my daughter's vagina as she was pushing my granddaughter out. So trust me, I've seen it all now. I've seen it all. I'm done. I think I can go on and roll over with shit. But just the fact that they would call and ask me, he'll ask me that, well, Mom, what I need to do. And my daughter, when she met the guy that was bigger than any guy that she's ever been with, and she wants to know how to suck his dick. Guess what I did? I went and got the toy and I showed her. Mm-hmm. Because if I show you how to do it right,
I'm not doing that.
Well, but this is the thing. You showed her techniques. Did you tell her the emotional side of it? Because number one, we all know to give a great blowjob, it does have to have an emotional connection.
My daughter, 28, she better know it's a goddamn connection. And all the shit I done told her black ass. Shit. No, I told her, this is what I said. I asked her if she's sure she wants to do it. And she was like, yeah, why wouldn't I want to do it? These were my words, y'all. I said, because the way I'm going to teach you, it's going to make him not want to leave you alone. So make sure this is somebody you want to be with, not somebody you just want to play with. Because if I teach you something, it's to make a motherfucker stay around. And she just looked at me like, are you serious? No, I'm dead ass serious. Because whenever I have any sexual contact with someone, I had to take myself out of this, but I looked at it as a job and I wanted to be the best at whatever the fuck I was doing. Right? So I said I had to remove that part of me so that I can get back connected with the emotional side. Because if I'm teaching my kids the emotional side to it and I'm not showing it, the fuck?
Exactly. Our kids mimic what we do and ignore what we say all the time. Mudbone 1950 says, I've got a son, a soon-to-be 12-year-old son in September, and he's a star football player and musician like Dad. He's also pretty boy, and girls go bananas over him. He tells me, Dad, she want to smash, but I'm not with it. Yeah. You need to keep talking to him, Mudbone. Have him understand his manhood is not based on who he smashed or how many girls he smashed. Mm-hmm. It's actually based on how many girls he does not smash and rise above that because they're just trying to belittle themselves to be with him. And he should set higher standards. So kudos for your son, but keep talking to him. Keep the lines of communication open.
Teach him safety and teach him time him on putting the condom. Time him because these little girls are quick. They quick. I swear for God, they quick. He better go to Walmart, get a 24-pack, tell them to keep a couple in this wallet and watch the expiration date. That's how you can tell them because you cannot watch your kids 24/7. You can't.
But you should also be able to trust that you have taught your kids the best to the best of your abilities and know that they're going to do the right thing. I bought my son when he went away to the military. I went ahead and went to Sam's and bought him the big pack from Sam's Club of condoms. And he's like, oh, Mom, I'll put it in your car. I don't care what you do with it. Put it in your car. Just understand.
Glove box.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Do not have any children until you're 100% ready. And I don't want you to be like, well, I don't have any condoms. I'm just going to, I'm going to hit it with raw. Mm-hmm. So no.
It's not just the children you have to worry about. You got to worry about all them 50,000 diseases. No.
Yes, exactly. Protect yourself. Protect your life first, meaning your life and your longevity. And then protect how you live your life. Make the choices that you want to not just have a baby out of pure mistake or stupidity. Protect yourself always. Wrap it up.
I included in the talk with my children, I included this in the talk. I said, when you're ready, if you think you're ready, if you're not around me, that's fine. You can call me. Everybody has a phone. I made sure all my kids had a phone, right? I said, if you feel like you're ready and you want to plan it out, let me know. I'm going to make sure you have everything you need. And my sons kind of looked at me like, man, I ain't coming to tell my mama that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when my now 21-year-old lost his virginity, guess who came to talk to me? You? And he, well, Mom, can you tell me what this is? Because I didn't understand this part. And it did hurt a little bit. And this, And in my mind, I'm going like, damn, I opened this damn door. Shit, I gotta sit there and listen to this shit. But it made me feel good that he came and talked to me. I had to explain to him, hey, this is what happens when a woman has when she climaxes, or this happens, this happen. And he was like, well, I did what you said. I smelled it first. I was like, he said he put his finger down there and did the finger test, and I was so done because when I actually said that, I was trying to joke it with the boys, but he did it for real.
Hey, the smell test is a real test, so yeah. If it smells kind of fishy, don't go swimming.
Don't do it.
Oral is the safest sex. Oral is the safest sex. You know, let her get a nut and keep it moving.
Yeah, don't let no hair get caught in your teeth. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm sorry. But
so let me ask y'all this. So we're talking about when is the best time to talk to our children about sex. What was your experience with the talk from your parents? And in the chat, if you go ahead and put what was your experience, go ahead and plug that in. When whoever had to talk with you, what was your experience? Go ahead, buddy. Now you first, buddy. You always first.
So I told you my mom had that's why I can relate to my dog, because my mom grabbed an anatomy book. I never forget, I was 10, and she opened it to a man's anatomy and a woman's anatomy, the little figure drawing or whatever, and it shows you all the little parts. And it said penis and vagina, but my mom didn't say that. She said, this is a man's Peter. This is a vagina. Don't do it. And once again, don't do what? So, my first...
Don't do Peter.
I guess the Peter was supposed to go with the vagina. I don't fucking know. But when
Did you ever date Peter? Did you ever date anybody named Peter?
Hell no.
Right, because your mama told you not to do Peter, but she didn't say penis.
Look, she said Peter, but when I started, I think I was 13 when I saw my first porn, like hardcore porn, and I was like, that ain't a penis. She said cock, and she said this, and she said that. Now, which one is it? My granny told me it was a penis. My granny was like, come here, did your mama ever talk with you? I was like, no, big mama, this is what she said. Oh, she the dumbest help I ever met for my damn life. Sit down, girl. Let me tell you what the hell going on around here. Like my big mama she didn't put the shit out there. Hey, Kimmy, that's my baby.
Oh,
hey, Kimmy.
Yeah, I know I love Kimmy. She be snitching, but
look at Deb. She turning red right now.
Yeah, my mom is what pushed me to have the talk with my kids. When I bathed my kids when they were 2-3 years old, I was like, make sure nobody, we're cleaning that area, hey, make sure nobody touches you here. Don't wash you too hard here. Da 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 da. So by the time they were 4 and 5 years old, they knew the ins and out of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they didn't know what sex was, but they knew the ins and out of nobody's supposed to touch me here, nobody's supposed to touch me there, blah blah blah. And they were going with their grandparents. When I say village, I mean my grandmother was coming to get them. My mom was getting them. His mom was getting them. So they weren't around me a lot, at a certain time. So I needed to make sure that they could talk, number one. And number two, they knew what wasn't supposed to happen to them.
Right. And that as a parent is the absolute most. You do not want anything to happen to your child. You want them to be safe, happy, and secure. But even in that, we kind of limit them to, what to the safety by not being honest with them.
That can sometimes bite you in the ass, Aretha. I'm gonna tell you why. I play games with my kids. We play dominoes, spades, all that kind of stuff. Like we have family time. It's just like a big old party, right? So they had a game called 25 questions, right? And you have a choice to I'm sorry, plead the fifth. I apologize. It's called plead the fifth. So if they ask you a question, you can say plead the fifth and not answer the question. So my children asked me this question, and y'all jaw probably finna drop. They says, Mom, how many people have you slept with in a day? And I answered them, and they was like, we never playing this game again. I answered them truthfully, and everybody just stopped what they were doing and looked at me like, what? I said, y'all motherfuckers asked me the question. I didn't ask y'all. You know what I'm saying? And they was like,
plead the fifth.
Huh? No.
You're supposed to plead the fifth. They done looked at you differently now.
Why I told my kids from 5 years old forward, where they could fully understand what I'm saying to them. I told them, if you ever ask me a question, I would never lie to you. I would always answer your question. So they're grown. I'm not going to change it. I've been doing it for what, 28 years? Shit, there it is. So when I answered the question, everybody was like, okay, we're done with the game. We're not playing this no more. Mama, I'll talk to you later. And they dispersed. It's like, did I say something wrong? And my oldest daughter's like, nah, Mama, you didn't say nothing wrong. You took the soul from my body. But that it made me comfortable enough to talk to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's when you talk to your kid about and be really open, not just be technical, but be really open about it. Right. Because I use the whole example. The
whole shebang.
But I think it also depends on the child, because sometimes, depending on the child, they might be completely and totally like
not ready.
You know, just messed up. You know, you're the last person that they want to have this conversation with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah, especially if they think it's bad.
It just depends on the. But Kimmy, since you're here, a question Aretha just asked was, how did our first sex talk with our parents go? Now I'm put your response in the chat, Kimmy, because Kimmy and I grew up in the same household, but sometimes I'm like, did we? You know, because our experiences or our realities, you know, are so different. But in my situation, I recall the sex talk from my mother. It was after a traumatic event, you know, in our life. You know, she explained, but my mom, one thing about my mother, she was a great communicator, you know, and she was honest, and I felt like I could talk to her, you know, about anything. So, but my mother, like myself, didn't go into the emotional details and, you know, everything like
Mudbone is killing me.
Yeah.
Mudbone is killing me, Deb. He said, "I'm so glad."
Is a character.
He said, "I'm so glad all of mine are grown except one." Phew, damn. He over there.
Look, is there still 13 though?
You know what? I want to say this because Deb, you just made me think of something. We keep wondering when is the best time to have a sex talk, and you said it depends on a child. It depends on the developmental state of mind of the child.
I don't think it depends on the child. I think the conversation should be had ASAP, personally, because in my personal opinion, I think the fast little girls, you know, chasing these little boys, and the little boys that are out there, and a lot of people have dealt. A lot of us have dealt with some type of sexual trauma, men and women, and then these patterns and these behaviors are created, and then we're out here running amok. humping and doing everything. Not everyone. I'm never speaking on everyone, but
Hey, we used to play how to get it, so I get it.
I know. But
Yeah, did you know what you was going to get?
those behaviors, sometimes is rooted somewhere else.
True.
Right. You're right. You're right. And with social media and how they're promoting sex, and I'm not nothing against Megan Thee Stallion. She got some good songs or whatever. But think about what these children see all the time,
Right.
constantly.
What they see
We got some
and what they go through, and then not to mention if they have an uncle or a brother or a sister or an auntie or somebody or a stepdad or a teacher at school actually
Right.
doing something to them.
Yes.
Right.
But if you are waiting and you have not had that conversation, you may never know, because your child may not ever tell you about it, but unless you ask.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm real passionate about this. I think talk to your children, check in with your children, check in who's around with your children, and just make sure they're good. I know it's an uncomfortable topic, but I think if they can understand what the words coming out of your mouth, I think you should be talking about it. That's just my personal opinion.
Exactly. We live in a sexually explicit world, and if you're not having that conversation, they're getting it either subliminally or someone else is talking to them and giving them misinformation. Kimmy D13 says, I have a 12-year-old now that wants to talk about sex. Talk to him. Be open, be honest, be truthful.
Tell him calm me. She said, I'm better equipped now. Thank you, Aretha.
No, Deb, you asked her to say something. She said, "Oh, our mama didn't sugarcoat a damn thing. She was straight to the point." So, and she said, "Y'all stepdad."
She didn't sugarcoat most things, but she sugarcoated some things.
Yes. Would you have appreciated it? Would you have appreciated it more if it wasn't sugarcoated and just given the facts, the truth?
Yes.
What I actually mean by that is my mother is deceased, and I do what I do because I want justice for my mother.
Uh-huh. You got it, baby. You okay? You strong, baby. Come on. You got this.
Because my mother was sexually abused too.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had wounds, and things that she had not dealt with. So she was not equipped to deal with some things. Sorry, y'all.
Right. No, don't be sorry. This is real people talking. And that's what happened when real people talk.
Yeah, let it out. Because I understand. I fully understand.
But so when I say she sugarcoated, but she didn't, she sugarcoated, but she didn't sugarcoat it, she never really was ready to deal with the truth, the real truth, the deep rooted truth, the reality of it all. Her part, her mother's part, my grandmother's part,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I say, what I say, because I think the reason why I want to talk about it so much is because the damage that it just does to another human being, men and women. And when you don't check in with your children, or you don't know, or you don't deal with your wounds, it's a vicious, sick cycle, and the way that it does people is different, and so I just I'm very, very, very sensitive, clearly, about this topic, because I just don't. I want everybody who's been hurt, who's keeping this secret, who's who was not taught about boundaries, who who was dismissed, or if they did talk about it. For me, it's just I have, this is my thing. I just want to see a lot of people heal. And I want to see a lot of people forgive themselves, and deal with deal with it. But if you don't if you don't if you don't talk to your kids, sometimes you may never know. You know,
I love
and
you, Kimmy.
I'm sorry about
It's
that.
okay.
We're here for you. We're here for you.
I just
I just thank God that with our daughters, horrible cycle was broken.
and it's true.
That's
Right.
beautiful.
It's true.
And that's
my
the
daughter
part of
represents a whole lot, for me, and she does represent a generational curse that was surely broken, you know.
Mm.
And so, both my sister and I we both have one daughter, and
Wow.
that's not their story. You know what I mean? Their story is not our story.
Right. And that's a blessing. That is an absolute blessing, because we all parent. There's no parental book that teaches you what to say, what to do, and how to do it right, a right way or a wrong way. No parent is 100% perfect or better than the next, but we parent from our parents' missteps,
Right.
and within doing so, we try to do better than, even if you had the greatest mother, there was always something that could have been better. It's just like a recipe for a cake. There's always another way to make it moister, tastier, different. And that's what we do. We parent out of our parents' mistakes and pain that was inflicted upon their upbringing of us. No matter if it was
I refuse to.
Right.
But you know what? I didn't just talk to my kids. If they brought their friends over, especially high school time, hey, come on in here. I had a little sitting room. I would go upstairs, grab my bag. Hey, I know you already got a kid. Let's not have another. I'm giving out condoms, female condoms, because I know if your parents would have had this talk with you like they were supposed to, you might not have had a kid. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what your parents talk to you, but when you come in this house, I'm going to educate you. I'm going to teach you how to do it correctly. And I remember my son was getting ready for prom, and his friends were coming to pick him up. And I was like, so all y'all going to prom? And they was like, yes, ma'am. We gonna have this. We gonna have that. I said, hold on. Open your wallet. And they was like, nothing in our waters. I said, exactly. And I went upstairs. I grabbed my bag, because I always go to the hospital, whatever. I always grab the free condoms to collect them for the kids. And I throw them on the boy's bed. I throw them on my daughter's bed. And I hear, thank you, mama. That's okay. You know what it's for. So before they went to prom, I said, I know y'all fast. Y'all manage. Here. I gave everybody some condoms, female and male. And I said, if you don't know how to use it, let me know now, so I can go in the kitchen and get what you need, so you can show me how to use it. Because the school are telling them, hey, safe sex, but they're not teaching them. It's a difference. You could tell me all day, hey, you need to have safe sex. You need to have safe sex. But what if I don't know how to put the condom on right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if it breaks?
Look, you hit on something. You hit on something really, really pivotal. Because sex education is not being taught in the schools. Not any longer. I know back in my day, I had sex ed. I'm pretty sure in y'all's day, y'all had sex ed. And it wasn't even that inclusive, Right. So nowadays, they've taken sex education out of the schools. So it is on the parent to teach them sex ed. But we are so behind on the curve, and we've been, trained to not give proper education. But it's on us to educate our children about sex and relationship and marriage. Not saying that's the responsibility of the school, because it's not. And I truly support it being brought out of the schools, because it puts more accountability on the parent for them not to be, I send them to school to learn about sex. No, you send them to school to learn how to read, write, and do arithmetic, not about sex. That's
my mother, when I was a teenager, she used to work at JPS, and she
Mhm.
worked on the AIDS unit. And
Right.
so she not only talked to me, she talked to my friends, but she was so easygoing and so easy to talk to. So my mother would talk to my friends, but she came out with a jar full of condoms and said, "Take them."
I thought I was the only one. Thank you, Mama.
No. My mother did. My
I
mother did.
believe it or not, but I got a phone call from one of the parents
Oh,
saying, "Did you get my kid
so
a condom?" And da, da, da. I said, "Yes, ma'am, I did." Why would you do that? Da, da, da. I said, "Well, ma'am, let me ask you a question." And I started quizzing her. I said, "Well, do you know how many STDs are out here? You know that this happens if this doesn't happen. This." And I just started talking to her, and all of a sudden that rage you heard in her voice started
Mm,
slowly just
mhm.
fading away. She said, "Now, what
right.
you say about this again?" I was like, "Damn, she don't even know, and she a grown ass woman." You know
But
what I'm saying? And that
I will
Exactly.
shook me.
Exactly.
How
But I
can
will
you
tell you
say
about
you
an
don't
incident
know?
with my daughter and a friend of hers. One day, my daughter's had a childhood friend, since they were in kindergarten. And her mother
Hmm.
called me one day in tears. Upset. And Honor was at her house. And they were on the Kick app.
Hmm.
And her daughter was
Oh,
chatting with
damn.
somebody on Kick. And this man asked her to
Mm.
send a picture of herself with lotion on her face and not to rub it in. And
Nasty mother.
that part. So
Mm.
she said, "I'm bringing Honor home now." And when Honor got in the door, I said, "Oh, y'all want to have grown people conversations. You want to know why? You want to know why he wanted her to send the picture that
Hmm.
way?" When I told her
Right.
the truth, she was devastated. I said,
Right.
"You're not ready."
But
And you don't have
I,
to try to devastate them, teaching. You're trying to teach them. You need to
yes.
understand why they
But
want
she
you
was
to.
devastated by the reality of why he wanted it. And you just this we live in a sick world, y'all. I mean, we do. I mean, our not just our girls, but our boys are vulnerable, too,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. Yes.
And
You know,
when they have these phones and these gadgets, and you don't know where they are. If you don't take that phone,
Exactly.
like she just did a random check and said, "Give me everything," and went looking, and that's what she found.
Right.
You gotta have the talks,
Yep.
the
And
real
but
talk.
you
you
know what?
have
You hit
to.
on something really, really important because sex education was taken out of the schools, but it didn't really teach us anything. If you don't go searching and hunting for the information, who's going to tell you? You're going to get misinformation,
I'll find out three
secondhand
ways.
information,
Mhm.
you know,
There's three.
and this is what parents are dealing with. This is why they don't want to have that conversation with their children because they don't know.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
they have made their level of shoot. It didn't work for me. I'm sitting here and tell her or him, well, I don't know. You don't
The
know
things
until
that
you know.
the things that I tell my kids are from the mistakes that I've made. The
Right.
things I didn't know, and I learned the right way to do them. Hey, I used to do it like this, but I'm gonna tell you how to do it this way because this way is better. I You guys know I've been doing the research for my book. The
Mm-hmm.
research that I from a FBI website, right? It
Mm-hmm.
says 1 out of 14 men have been sexually abused in some manner. 1 out of 7, and
Right.
I believe that one person, if they would have got educated correctly on what's going on with their body, who does what, I think it may not have happened. You know
Or
what I'm
somebody
So
saying?
just
Like,
so true.
asked. If
So
somebody
true.
just
So
asked.
true.
right?
When the narrative on sex in males is you get all the poo nanny you can get. You get all the vagina you can get. put it on your notch on your penis. And that's what makes you a man. When that is the conversation, what man is gonna say I was molested because this woman took advantage of me at 3, 4, but I thought it was a notch on my belt and it was making me a man. When the conversation for boys is, man up, you don't hurt, you don't feel. When that is the conversation, that's why the number is high, more so than women. Because we're telling them, no, you're not supposed to be touched, but boys, yeah.
Woo, because there are women out here sexually abusing men, y'all, and it is the truth.
Right.
And so, if there are men doing it, sexually abusing men as well, but women are doing it too.
Right. So listen, I got a great person that can speak to this. We have our awesome co-host Taber. He is in the building. And he's going to speak to this, but I want to say to our listeners, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sticking around. We're going to go a little bit longer because this is an important conversation that needs to be had. And just stick with us. We're going to pull out all the stops. All right. And remember to like, share, and comment. Follow everybody in the post. This is a follow community. If you're new to Twitch, there are awesome streamers. If you're a streamer, put a 1 in the chat. If you're a DJ, put a 1 in the chat. This is a community of DJs and streamers that stream awesome content. I say it's like having a DJ in your pocket. There's some amazing DJs down here that are playing songs that you probably think that you never thought you wanted to hear, but you do. So follow everybody. And follow me, Loves Passion, here on Twitch. And we're going to go ahead and bring in our Ty Bear and let him get in on this conversation. Just one moment. Hey, Ty.
I can smell him already.
Oh, Lord, you can smell him. Ty.
Hey, Ty.
What's up, family? How y'all doing?
As our testosterone on this show, what's your thoughts on this conversation? And Kimmy said, "Hey, Tom."
Well, here's the thing. You definitely have a point. We are taught that as young men that an older woman taking advantage of you is a notch on your belt, right? And we kind of take that as a badge of honor, and not knowing that it is truly shaping or ill-shaping your perspective on relationships. I am a victim of that, and it took me a while to understand that I was a victim of sexual exploitation. I had to come to the grips that me at 13, 14 years old should have never been with a woman that was 36. And that was an every weekend thing. Paid for me to come down. Little did I know I wasn't getting any money. I got a cell phone and, little things of that nature here and there, but I didn't understand the magnitude of getting drunk at 13, 14 years old every weekend to then have sex. And what that eventually did for me was it took emotional intimacy out of relationships for me. Sex became just sex. I cut ties off. Like I was one of those guys that, hey, don't catch feelings with me. If we didn't set out on the course to catch feelings, don't catch feelings because you're gonna get your feelings hurt. Because I just developed this means of being able to cut it off. But it can make us very cold as men. So you have a lot of men out here that don't deal with the reality of what the trauma that they're actually been through, and they're cold. They're cold to their partners. They're cold to their children. They're cold to themselves. They're cold to the idea of love. They're just cold to it because love for them has been destroyed.
That is so true. Ooh, that within itself is a
I
piece.
agree with him 100% because I think I've said in a couple other shows I was just cold hearted, and when I was done, I just would disappear, never
Right.
to be
Some big freezes around here.
heard from again. You know,
Right.
and I know where that is rooted from, because
Right.
Yeah.
I had more than one instance, you know, and then the third instance, I was just, I never said a word to anyone. And I think there was just so much trauma that it was just like, okay, no big deal. Life is just traumatic, you know.
For me,
And so I was heartless, you know, I
yeah.
was,
Right.
you
Because
know,
you feel like
I did not value me. I did not value sex. I
I didn't
didn't,
know how
Right.
you know.
I didn't
You
know
know,
how
Yeah,
to.
and for
yeah,
young men,
exactly.
most of the for young men, there's a lot of family that knew. Like my family knew. Like they certain family, not everybody. Like my mom didn't know, but most of them felt like they knew. But this is this effed up cycle that this is just supposed to be happening, and it's cool, and it's you know what I mean. He becoming a man. No way in hell I couldn't imagine sending my 13-year-old son and with this grown ass woman to hell no, hell no. And this for me went on for years. It went on for years. And
Mhm.
this lady was a social worker. She was a social worker. She was a caseworker. You know what I mean? So,
Wow.
Wow.
to the point where my story goes deep, man. Like where my cousin ended up adopting a young lady, fostering, not adopting. She fostered a young lady, and I ended up liking the young girl. She was around my age, the first young girl around my age that I really liked. And she was a little bit more experienced, and out like me, because she went through some things like I went through. So we had more mature relationship than we should have had at that age, but that's just where we were in life. And what happened was the lady who I was sleeping with that whole time, she ended up finding out about our relationship and shut the foster home down, took her out, moved her away, um, and it was just so crazy. And
Mhm.
little did I know, not I could have said something. I could have said something, and that story would have been just completely different. But I didn't know. I didn't know.
Mhm.
And part of it was I didn't know to know that something was wrong. I didn't know better. I didn't know better to say, hey, what me and you've been doing these past 3, 4 years, we shouldn't have been doing.
Right. Right.
I have the leverage, not you. I just didn't know better.
Well, Chai, do you truly believe that you had the leverage over a grown woman that
Right.
was taking advantage of you? Because the thing is, like what Peanut Butter and Deb is saying, they got cold hearted and they were ruthless, but they were victims first. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And victims turn into abusers. Not saying y'all are abusers. I'm
Oh
just
no, I
saying.
was
No,
abusive.
no,
I
I
was.
was, I was, I was, I
I
was
Well,
was.
abusive. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, sure
So
was.
I'm saying you as the child have no control over a situation.
So here's what I
And the
say
fact
with
that she was a
leverage.
social worker was even just, you were not protected at all. There was no
Yeah.
protection for you, you
Yeah,
know.
But
so
she's probably seen and heard it all. She knew better.
she knew
Right.
better, and
Or
here's the
or
thing:
or
we
she
we
didn't know better.
Or yeah, because who knows what she's been through.
Right. Maybe
And
that
yeah.
was
that's why
her
So
cycle. That was
that
her
is
trauma.
truly why I don't judge. When I see people moving funny, in
okay,
my mind, I go there first. It has what
But
has
you know what the
happened to
problem
you.
is? You know what the problem is with most I'm going to use me because I don't know about everybody else. With most young people, if you can't find that one person to trust, you know what I'm saying? Like the one person I thought I could trust went back and just made me look like the baddest person in the world, right? So that made me lose trust in a lot of adults, right? So I didn't know who the hell to tell what, because you got all these different opinions, you got all these different people looking at you. Now, mind you, the things that I was going through, I was in church. So the person that was doing this to me, the person I told, went back and made it to this big old thing. And then I got all these eyes looking at me. And as being a young teenager, when you got all them eyes looking at you, and remember, peer pressure is a motherfucker. So when people are talking about you, you know they talking about you. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
They in your face. It makes it hard it's really hard for a kid to know who they can and cannot trust. It's really hard.
Like I said, the third time, I never said a word because I told you the first time you did nothing. Second time you did nothing. The third time, what I need to talk to you about? You know, I was 11 years old. That was already my mindset. I had to protect myself.
Right. You went into the mode of protect yourself because the adults that were supposed to protect you did not. And that's, that is a true mindset of the victim. They turn their self into the bad person. Exactly. Well, I must be doing something wrong because nobody is interjecting and nobody is trying to save me. Nobody is, trying to fix this situation. It's wrong. I feel it's wrong. Well, maybe it's not wrong. They start to justify it, within themselves that, okay, well, what they're doing to me, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe this is how it's supposed to be. And then that kind of goes back full circle. What conversations are you having with your children? To where if you're having those conversations with your children, there's no way that they're going to be able to justify within their own self. No, my mama said, no, you can't touch my lollipop.
If you have that conversation and you're honest about it, it doesn't go on for a year. It doesn't go on for 2 years. When that topic is open for conversation, then I think you can prevent, the history.
So then, see, here's the thing. You have those that's aiding and abetting what's going on, and they're making it the cool secret. So for me, it was the cool secret not to say something to I should have been talking to, which was my mother. I should have been saying something to her about that, but it was such the cool secret. You know what I mean? Like it was, this was I'm drinking on the weekend. We drinking 99 apples, 99 oranges, and I'm getting shit-faced trash.
And were you not enjoying yourself, Ty?
I was enjoying myself. I was.
Exactly.
Playing spades, getting drunk at 14 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I was enjoying myself. This was the cool secret. Don't tell your mom this. You ain't going to be able to come here. You know what I'm saying? You're going to shut this down. You know she ain't going to let you do this, that, and the third. But, it's not, you start to get older, start to wake up, and it's like, wow, like I was really being used this whole time, and I was put in this mindset of, and that's what I meant by leverage, understanding that when it really came down and I started to wake up, that I had the leverage to go take to my mom. But at this point, now you're so afraid, like, oh my God, I don't want to tell my mom what I've been doing this whole time. I'm afraid. But if I would have just stepped out on faith and just told her, Mom, this is what's been going on. I know I probably shouldn't have been drinking, but this is what was going on. This was allowed, and this is what me and this lady had been doing. She'd been taking me to her home, and you know what I mean. And I couldn't leave until she was ready. Like it was a lot going on.
Just because it feels good doesn't mean it's not abuse.
It is right. So Ty, in hindsight, Guy Talk Unhinged is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow her. She's an awesome streamer. Hey, Guy Talk. Okay, so in hindsight, as you as an adult, do you see the misgivings of that thought? Oh, my mom's going to be mad because I'm drinking and hanging out with this lady and doing this stuff with this lady. But that lady was victimizing you. She was taking advantage of you. But you as a child, in your child mind, was, oh, my mama gonna be mad at me if I tell her. I might get a whooping, might get punished. I might not be able to do this anymore. You have the good stuff and you have the bad stuff all mixed into one. And in your child mind, it sets in as, this is fun, this is what I want to do. Never mind, it's not what you should be doing. And you knew it was wrong because you didn't want to tell
your parents. Here's the thing. You knew it was wrong, not wrong on a sexual molestation exploitation level. You knew it was wrong, like breaking curfew wrong. And this is what young men go through, because you don't realize that it's wrong, sexual molestation exploitation wrong. You think it's wrong, like breaking curfew, being bad, breaking the rules wrong. And it's being painted to you like, no, man, go and get that, man. You a man, go knock that down, show you go get that. You know what I'm saying? You gonna knock that off. She older than you, younger, you know what I mean? Go get that check. So this is what's being pumped up into you. Right. That's what's being pumped into you. So the whole time you're not thinking like, if it's the opposite way and it's a young lady that happens, it's immediately like, okay, he's molesting me.
Yeah. And exactly. Kimmy D13 says, I think that's why my dumbass got married at 17. And Mudbone 1950 said that's why my daughter had a baby at 15. Exactly. The thing is, the importance of having open dialogue with your child is so ultimately important. Open, honest dialogue that is not sugar-coated, that is, okay, you want to talk about sex? Okay, that's cool. Let's do that. It's just like, you want to talk about what water's made of. Just make it a fluid conversation and take down the barriers. Because the things that we've grown up with, we've learned to build barriers that prohibit us from doing better with our children, because those talks, the things that are off limits. No, I don't want my daughter to know that I have sex. I'm 54 and I don't want her to know that I suck dick. I don't get it. No, you got here because your grandma was screwing.
Right.
Let's have that conversation.
You be nice, because I straight say fucking.
Mm-hmm. We're not
having sex, having intercourse. Let's keep it PG. As long as you keep it PG and call it what it is and don't give it a slang name, you're gonna be all right.
Isn't it what you just said? You said keep it open. When I talked to my kids when they were younger, I said these exact words. You got to learn how to put on a condom, because these girls will take your dick and throw up in their pussy before you can blink your eye. I did not sugarcoat, because they going to say that when we're not around.
Right. This is true.
It doesn't matter. They're grown now, but they cussing at school. They shooting craps at school, smoking at school. Shit, my son was stealing my Jell-O shots and selling them at school, so I know they're getting drunk at school. So why?
That's entrepreneurial spirit right there.
But I'm just saying, why would I sugarcoat it with you when I know what you're going through? I used to work at I volunteered at a high school, so I know what these kids' conversations are like. I know why these girls want to wear these tight pants. They uniform pants, so to speak. They were tight, or their shirt was hugging their body. Come on. Mm-hmm. Ty just said it. He said that if it's a guy, they're gonna be like, yo, you better go and hit that da-da-da. Guess what? Now the girls are acting the same way.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
Yeah, and they want to say, hey, girl, he wasn't about nothing. I hit that the other day. Da-da-da-da-da. He wasn't about this big. They do the same fucking talk. I've heard it. So just as bad as the guys are getting that peer pressure on them, the girls are getting it too. And then if
The
you
girls
are
are
a virgin,
getting
walk freely. That's why I don't understand where you gotta rape it, because they will throw they pussy in your face. Oh my God. They making it
Right.
hard for the hookers and prostitutes right now.
But do you
Right.
ever wonder
Okay, I'm
why?
sorry.
Because I know a lot of young women who
Ooh.
don't. You know, but
Yeah,
I always
I mean,
wonder about the ones that are.
right. Do
You
you
know,
think that
why?
it may be? Do you think it may be something that they see and they're mimicking because of the sexual culture that we're in?
Yeah.
I mean, you can turn on the TV and
It's
watch
what it
Love and
is.
Hip Hop.
It's what it is. You know, you're dealing with the society that is sexually exploiting our young women and our young men. That sex now is just merely an act. Like it's like sex now is like kissing. Like you know what I mean? Like it's nothing. There is no emotional attachments to it. You got so many more women now that don't care to be married. You know what I mean? You got so many, you know, so it is taking, this culture is taking a toll on what we would consider normal standards. And where you have women and young women now acting like what I will say is like young men would normally do, and that's a double standard because that wasn't right. You know what I mean? Right is right,
Right.
wrong is wrong. But just not to you as a woman, you have a womb. You have a womb. You have a God-given womb that should be cherished and protected at all costs. No one should be able to enter your womb without any sincere responsibilities and sincere intentions behind making you one a mother, well, first one a wife, second a mother. You know what I mean? And unless he's on that stage, that's the only time he should be entering your womb. Like that is the universe. We come out of the triple darkness. That's the mother's womb.
Right.
So you know that's so much power, and we have lost the knowledge of self. We have lost the power of self, and because we have lost the knowledge of self, and we don't put it on the pedestal that it deserves to be, we abscond with our precious jewels like there's nothing to it.
And I think we've lost the love of self too, because when you love yourself,
Yes,
you know how valuable you are, and you know that's not to be given to anyone. You know you're special. You know what I mean? I think that's what frustrates me now that I'm awake. You know, when I look at that person, oh, it just kills me because I could not see myself. You know what I mean? But when I realized that I was valuable, that everything that I took personal had nothing to do with me and everything that was wrong with them. When I learned about boundaries, when I learned about soul ties and and the connection, I was just like,
Now listen.
Hey,
healing hurts. That's why people don't do it. You know, if it felt good, everybody would be healed. But healing hurts. And if that's your story, and the day you have to look at, if you've dealt with trauma and you exhibited certain behaviors, whatever they were, the day you have to look at yourself and take accountability for yourself, it hurts. When you no longer have anyone to blame, it hurts.
Look at the comments. Kimmy says she worked at the high school for 8 years, and you wouldn't believe the conversation that the kids are having.
Right. And Kimmy, if you would like to come in and just, make your voice known and give us some insight on that, since you're working with these kids, we raised them, but you working with them. So we sent them school to you. Click that link and I'll get you in. You don't have to be on video. It could just be audio. Just click that link and come in and I'll put you in. Same to you, Mudbone, because Mudbone says, I'm the VP of a Pee Wee football league and I coach four through 5 and 10 through 6, 12 years old boys. And I listen to their conversations Friday at practice, and them kids sound like me and my boss 40 years ago. They know more than I did 60 years old. Damn. And damn.
But do they really? But do they?
Yeah, they actually they know what's been passed on to them. Put it that way. But Deb, you made some really, really valuable key points. The absolute fact that you kept saying that when you learned, it was not taught to you. You did not get this at the age that you needed. It was before you started having sex, or in the course of the beginning stages. The emotional connections, the soul ties, those pieces are what helps make a decision on what you will and will not do. I'm not saying for those who did not have a choice in the decision, but for those that are making those choices and making those decisions to be just free with their body, and it doesn't mean anything, because, you know, just like kids are getting desensitized to murder because they're shooting, you know, these games.
Right.
They're using the shooting games and they're seeing the blood and they're like, oh, well, I can shoot him. He can get back up. No, I just want an AK-47 just to shoot him, see if he can get back up. No, you only get one time. You know, so kids are getting desensitized to sex and the habits of sex, because of exactly what you said. You know?
It's really hard when you got to fight against. It's hard when you got to fight against the rappers and the singers and the videos and the LGBT and MNOP community. You got to fight against all of that. Just don't judge me.
You know, MNOP.
Fight against that, because think about it. When we in our generation, it was certain things that they just did not put on TV. If you didn't have on enough clothes, you wasn't going on TV. It was that type of censorship. But the censorship so much.
Right. Censorship is like non-existent
now. I don't know if you guys seen the BET video. I mean the BET Awards this past with Lil Nas X and that performance. If you haven't, you know, for me, okay, look, I have my opinion, and I'll keep my opinions to myself, okay? But whatever floats your boat, floats your boat.
No, right? This is a place for your opinions. You don't have to keep them to yourself.
Okay. All right. So I'm not one that do I really want to go here? Okay. I'm not one that believes in that same sex thing. I'm just not him. And here's why. And when people say, "Oh, people are born that way," I don't subscribe to that. Because that's a slippery slope. When you say people are born that way, then you can say people are born serial killers. You can say people are born pedophiles. You can say people are born this. So that's a slippery slope to make that statement. And I always say, our job, number one law of nature is to survive, right? Number one law of nature is to survive. So when especially on this show, we talk about sexual relations, right? So we know in order to procreate, for human nature to survive, we have to sleep with the opposite sex in order to procreate. So if everyone today say magically that is the right way to go, in less than 70 years, the human race will cease to exist. Because there will be no more procreation.
Right.
So I digress. I digress off of that point because I really, you know, maybe we bring up another show topic.
However, that's going to be called evolution of trauma.
Right. So, however, that award show showed so much that I was afraid that maybe my children saw this award show. I mean, that he actually tongued another young man down on national TV at the end of the performance. I mean, tongued him down.
Okay, but let me ask you a question, Ty. Don't you remember when Madonna kissed Britney Spears? Were you outraged then, or is it just because it was two men?
So for me, I don't do the double jeopardy. I'm both ways. I don't. You were outraged. I think then? If it's wrong, it's wrong. Okay. I don't like it. If you're grown and you choose to make that decision, then cool. That's your own. Make that decision and keep that into the confinements of your own personal space, right? But when you have such young minds that are able to be molded and shaped and manipulated and enticed to do things that they don't even understand the ramifications of it, then
Right.
we have a responsibility to protect these babies.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
but
too much,
see,
that-
but
you know,
you were
too much of it-
manipulated by a woman. We have the right to protect these all babies in every scenario, because just like you view that as some form of manipulation. I mean, you were manipulated too. It was just done by a woman. We just need to protect our children, period. I'm not really going to speak on because I'm a firm believer. Be yourself and what your authentic self. If it's authentic, if like you said, if it was not manipulated, if it's not rooted somewhere from a bad place, be you, But like Aretha kind of alluded to.
Okay,
We'll get to that later.
right. Be your authentic self, right? And cool. I agree with that wholeheartedly, right? But how much of our authentic selves now are being dictated and caroused by social standards or social trends or traits, right? Because like we said earlier, these kids are so much more sexual now than we were, than the generation before me. They're doing things now, right, that seems to be their authentic self. But how much of that is what is being put in front of them every day?
Right. So what you're saying, Ty?
What is your true self?
I don't think
Right.
things are that different. I just think a lot of things were kept in the dark, especially when it comes to homosexuality. Now we just live in a time where it's people are embraced and they're accepted. I don't think much has really changed. I just think a lot more was in the closet before. To be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, Deb makes valid points. So do you, Ty. The thing about being your authentic self, you really don't know who you are until you experience life for yourself. So you can't really truly be your authentic self until you get to that point. And in the midst of that point, you experiencing that dash between the day that you begin and the day that you end, there's stuff that happens that alters your trajectory on who you are and who you become. So I don't look either way at it. Their sexual preference is their sexual preference. I do frown on it being forced, because like I said, sexuality now, there's no censorship on either way, on LGBTQ, on heterosexual. There is no censorship. I can watch CBS daytime primetime network and be like, oh my god, this is soft porn, and this is just regular TV.
Yes.
So
yes.
you can watch commercials and you kind of look in some kind of way because you kind of know it's wrong, but they're pushing the envelope. And the clothing, the little girls want to wear them because they think it's just cute. They don't know that, your body is a temple. You shouldn't be wearing those pants that got the booty cut out of them.
Well, you're not emotionally ready for what it brings.
Right. And you have
somebody asking you to put
girls
lotion on your face and
right. They're walking around and they want to look and mimic their idols, Nicki Minaj,
Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. You want me to keep going?
There you go. You can keep going. But the list is long, and these women are being very, very sexual. You don't have a nice, wholesome group anymore. You know, Haley, look at Haley, the twins. Look at them. I mean, what happened?
They
In
switched.
between, they came out and they were wholesome and
They
beautiful and
switched.
everybody loved them. And then now they look like Beyonce after her second night. You know, and then you have these men and boys. Heck, I feel for them because they confused. I know I'm confused. You taller than me, your breast bigger than mine, your butt bigger than mine, but you 13. There's no signs walking across your head. I am a child, you know, anymore. So anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox because that it within itself is just a whole another episode of, you know, gone with the life of the child, you know.
Mhm.
I gotta say thank you to all y'all. I gotta say thank you because you know for a long time I was talked about how I talk to my kids, what I talk to my kids about. Um, I got two modes. I'm your friend, and then I'm your mama, and my kids know the little line, not the cross, right? So I'm quick to tell my boys, hey, you need to go wash under your nuts. Like
Mhm.
kids, how to talk proper bathing to keep down infections and diseases and stuff. That was part of my sex talk. I actually went and got towel and soap and say, hey, you need to do this with the towel and soap and some water, and you need to lift your nuts up and get under it. Like I had to teach them that. But I
But
said
you
that
better or somebody else is.
right. I didn't persecution is part of life, right? So I rather you not get dogged out because I didn't tell you. You can't say I didn't tell you. Right. I want you to say you didn't know. I think the reason why I'm telling you guys thank you because everything that y'all are saying and I talked to my kids about and I thought, well, maybe my mom was right. Maybe I shouldn't have said this to them. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But listening to what you guys are saying, and thank you, Ty Bear, is because everything y'all hit on, you know, you're saying, I told my boys, don't let your homeboys hype you up. Don't if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Let them think whatever they're gonna think because they're gonna think it regardless. If you tell them the truth, they still gonna think what they want to believe. I said, don't let them hype you up. And here it is. I have a 25-year-old son that has no kids. He's out here living his best life. I have a 19-year-old with no kids. My oldest daughter has only one. And she said, Mama, thank you because I know now I don't want to have another kid until I'm married. Right? My daughter is still with her child's father. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at all these things as y'all are talking. I'm going down my little list like, dang, okay, maybe I did do this right. Because sometimes as parents, when you talk to your children, you feel like there's not getting across to them. But I'm telling parents that with younger children that aren't having these talks with them, it's okay to be raw. It's okay to put it out there. And yes, I use a lot of examples from my sex life to help my children to get them to understand that I've been through it already. I got you.
Right.
No.
So I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna say this to you, Peanut Butter. You know, before us having this conversation, and you know, like I always said, you know, I have a 12-year-old daughter whom will be 13 very soon, who still plays with Barbie dolls, right? And I see her starting to edge to that fix of trying to find herself as a young lady. She's bigger than most of the girls her age, so I know the boys are looking. She's, you know, she's built. You know, so I'm like, you know, sweatpants all day. You know, but you know, she wants to do her nails now, and she wants her hair done, and then she wants to do the makeup. And so I'm gonna be honest with you. Prior to having multiple conversations with you, I wasn't really like into starting to open that up yet. And but I start to feel like now in today's society, it pays to be first. Like it pays to be first, to talk about that first.
Ooh, you
not
said so.
Reactionary. So, you know, I thank you. And most important, I thank you for expressing your parental strategies and things that you've done, because it is a strategy. There's no one way to parent these kids. There's strategies, right? And where we sometimes go off on, it takes a village. But when we think you have one way and the best way, that's when you fall. You know, it
Oh
takes a
yeah.
village to raise these children. So, you know, I thank you for that. And, you know, and I thank God that I wasn't bullheaded not to listen or too prideful not to listen and really with an open heart and open mind. And
That's
I
well
thank
said.
you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you.
Okay. Mudbone 1950 says, I have a lesbian daughter, and when she came out of the closet at 13, her mother freaked out. I told her stop alienating her ass. She wouldn't listen. So at 40 years old, she calls her mother by her first name. I told her mother, fool, you never complained when I did it to you. Why you tripping about her doing it to somebody?
Uh,
SHIT, I'm a lesbian too, damn it. I love females.
Oh,
uh,
He a fool.
I'm gonna give y'all an incident that happened. One thing I tell my kids, I always tell them, whatever you're gonna do, be the best at, it, right?
Mm.
And I did say this. I said, if you're gonna be a stripper, be the best stripper. You want to learn some points? I got you. If you're gonna be a baseball player, be the best at it. My daughter, I'm grateful. One, thank you, Ty. It was. I'm trying not to cry. Um,
yeah, don't do me, God.
Mhm, mhm,
sorry.
Don't
My
get Deb
daughter.
started.
It was my daughter's sophomore year in high school. And one thing I've always told people, kids don't really know what they want. You really don't know what you want to get grown when you've been through some things, right? So when my
Mhm.
daughter got ready to tell me that she like girls, she was gay, I was like, okay. And she just looked at me, you're not mad? I said, I'm not mad. It's your life, not mine. It's your
Mhm.
life. That's what you choose to do. Be the best at it. She said, so you gonna say the same thing to that? I said, yes. I said, but what good is it for me to gonna scream at you and yell at you and oh you shouldn't do that. It's not gonna do no good because you're gonna do it anyway.
Right.
I said, so since you made that choice, okay, I would like to meet the young lady, and no, I do not agree with the LMNP community. I don't. But you have to
Tell
understand the influence that's in school, right? So they're gonna try it at least one time in their life. Then they're gonna decide whether they like it or dislike it, right?
Mhm.
So it turned out she didn't like it. So I was happy about that. I just didn't show it to her until it was over. Then when she got grown, I was like, I was so glad when you stopped messing with that girl because I couldn't stand that bro. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta let them figure it
mhm.
out. You know?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Ty, you said something. She wants to get her nails done. She wants to get her makeup done and all that. Let her be a young lady. It's okay, Daddy. Daddy, I know you're protective of her, and it's okay. One thing I did do, and I think that's why my daughter. I think my daughter's kind of look cocky a little bit, but every day they woke up, I was, hey, beautiful, hi, pretty girl, you're so beautiful today. They could look like
Mm.
it didn't
Yeah.
matter.
Mhm.
I was telling you, you're beautiful. And my oldest daughter asked me, she said, why do you do that every morning? I said, because if a boy come up and tell you you're beautiful, you can tell him, I already know.
Right.
Okay.
Tell me
That's
every
that
day.
reinforcement.
And and
Yeah.
and
You
and
know,
Ty,
it's
you're such a hold on, Ty, real quick. You're so I think you're so next level in your thinking and your mindset.
thank
You
you.
know, you're your daughter's hero,
Mhm.
everything, no matter what you've ever done, they don't care.
Yeah.
You'll always be her hero. So she should get the goods from you and from a man's perspective of all
Right.
Right.
things. So many of us don't get that male perspective. Some of us are fortunate to have had it, but every daddy should give his daughter the game.
I didn't get
And
it
you're
from
right, you should be first.
yeah.
My
Right.
You got this.
my
I
daughter
think
today,
that
she
is
told
pivotal.
me, my daughter today, she told me, she said, Daddy, you're my best friend. She told me Mm. Wow.
Oh.
She said,
Oh
Daddy, you're my
yes.
best
What's
friend.
in the stars today? Because
She said
Okay.
you're my
All the way
she said
around. All the way
you're my best friend, Daddy. And and wow, that's yeah. She said, Daddy, you're my best friend. And you said we should be best friends, and and you are my best friend. I just want to let you know you're my best friend. She said, but I gotta tell you stuff. I'm gonna talk to you like you're my best friend, but you gotta talk to me back like you're my best friend. And I said, okay,
oh,
baby, I got you. I said, okay, I got you. I said, well, listen, there's some stuff Daddy gonna have to talk to you like a dad about, but I'm always gonna be your best friend first. You know what I mean? And and she said, okay. She just gave me the biggest hug, And I think back, like we try to fight these kids so much. Like Butter said, her daughter went through something and she did not fight it, and she came up out of it. She came back through to her natural self, who she is. The Bible says, and I'm not gonna preach, but the Bible says the kids are much smarter but more wickeder. And what happens is we fight these kids, right? And we try to fight them, and because of scripture, they will rebel, and we will force our kids down the road that they really did not want to go down, a road that's really not their nature. But because we thwart them and we put them in a box and we put parameters in them, they will rebel against us, and just out of rebellion, it will make them something that they're truly not.
Ooh, that is
ooh. You better say that.
So we people are put in your life for a reason. This show was put in our lives for a reason, because these conversations allow me to be in a position to be a best friend to my daughter. Allow that conversation to exist because we've had these conversations between us four. So, the level of gratitude could never truly be expressed. So for what it's worth, and words will never do its service, I appreciate this show.
I do too. I don't know how this happened. I mean, but I would like to express my gratitude as well, because I'm better every time we do it. And, I appreciate everybody's, perspective. So, y'all.
God, I can't handle this shit.
You guys are absolutely amazing people, and amazingly, because you keep it open. You keep it open, honest dialect. Nobody's here faking any fronts. We're just real people having real conversation about real life topics. It's a whole lot of real going on. And I appreciate you all for being open, just being open and ready to give and receive and give some more. This show has been epic. We started off rocky. I will say to you that, but as usual, we always come back. We always come back from our torment. Always better. I want to absolutely thank Mudbone 1950, Kimmy 13, God Talk Unhinged, Vicky Walls. I want to thank you all for just contributing to this conversation.
You can thank the lurkers this week.
Yes, thank you, lurkers. Y'all keep me busy. You keep me here and keep me trying to keep you engaged and get you in this topic. It's for the lurkers. It's for the contributors. It's for the talkers. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you so much. We're going to do our last thoughts right after these commercials from our sponsor. And that is me, Love's Passion. Hi guys, I am Love's Passion. I am bringing you today something that will make sex wetter and safer, because wetter sex is safer sex. Now, you've heard Butter talk about oral sex, and we today have our bedroom candy green apple lubricant. It's called Delicious Encounters. This lube is pH balanced. It is vaginal safe. It does not have any lysine or glycerin that will cause you to have any irritations in the in-between zones. So you don't have to worry about, those yeast and those BVs. This is specifically made for your body. It tastes amazing. There is no sugars in this here green apple delicious encounters. It does also come in chocolate, pomegranate, and tangerine. This is offered to you by Bedroom Candy. I'm going to put the link in the comments and in the chat. If you would like to get more information, you can visit my website and order online. Thank you guys for listening, and we will go back to our regularly scheduled topic. Now, Deb, we are going to start with you. What is your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, I think my thing is that there's no age requirement. I think that you should just discuss, just discuss these things with your children, through different times and phases of their lives. And I'm a firm believer that some trauma could be avoided or prevented, or just if you just check in and have these conversations with your children. So I'm that's all I'm gonna say. Sorry about getting emotional today.
No problem. We love it when you get emotional. All right, Ty Bear. We're gonna save you for the last because you always give good stuff. All right, go ahead.
I know.
I know you was afraid to go after him. I was gonna put you next.
Thank you, cuz I don't want to go after the preacher. My last thought for the day is I'm gonna marry Ty. That's number one. Let's get that out there. So ladies, go back out.
And I'm gonna cry.
I agree with Deb. Talk to your kids. Don't sugarcoat it, because when they get out in society with their friends, they don't sugarcoat anything. Be mindful of what your kids watch. Check their browsers. They can say it's invading privacy, but you pay the phone bill and they stay in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to what they're watching. If you can, block the porn sites. If you can, sometimes that's not always possible. If you inbox me later, I'll tell you how to do it on iPhones and Androids. We're talking about having to talk with our kids, but we also need to think about protecting our kids, because having to talk is protection. Remember that. Having to talk with them is protection, because knowledge is power.
Good time. All right, Ty Bear. Give it to us.
Oh man. Okay. Like this.
You've been sitting there thinking about this.
We have to find the ability to love past our discomforts, right? We have to find the ability to love past our hurts. We have to find the ability to love past what we don't agree with, what we don't understand, and we have to love to the point that we want for our brother what we want for ourselves, we want for our neighbor what we want for ourselves, we want for our children what we want for ourselves, right? Love truly conquers all. Love truly conquers it all. And the most important part is, if you just if you focused on your job as a parent, if you focus on your job as a human being, your job as a father, your job as a mother, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, cousin, whatever it may be, if you just focused on your job, Grandma said, if everyone's cleaned up outside of their house, the whole world will be clean. If you just cleaned up outside of your door, there would be no need for a street cleaning party. There would be no need for sanitation.
Wow.
So if we take the responsibility of just cleaning up our household, we can just clean up your household. Do your best in that, right? Seek help if you need it. Clean up your household. We can then begin to delete and knock down some of the filth, some of the bad experiences out here in the streets. Because before that bad experience come out to that street, before that that bad person comes out, it comes out of a house. He or she comes out of a house.
Oh man,
I'm losing
Him and
you.
his
outside
his
volume. We lost.
Oh,
There you go.
We lost you for
We
a
lost
minute.
you. And everybody
the
was
devil
tied
is
to
a
the
lie.
screen.
Well, look, and we'll wrap it up. Listen. There is no such thing as a no good female without a no good man.
Mm.
There is no such thing. Every no good woman was made no good by a no good man. We gotta do better, men. I'm directly speaking to the men. We gotta do better because our women need us. Our babies, our daughters need us. And before we send them out there in the streets, destroyed, battered, abused, neglected, deficient, we gotta improve our household. Get back in your home. Get back in your home. And then we can begin to make the streets clean.
Oh my God,
And one other thing, I'm so sorry, but ladies, we have to protect our young men and our boys too as well. Okay?
yes.
Oh God.
Okay, guys, this has been another one for the books. Get your towels, get your Kleenex. You know, this has been amazing. This has absolutely positively been an amazing show, an amazing topic that was well needed and well discussed. We might not have hit on every point, but we really hit on some of the major ones. I appreciate these three individuals here for taking time out of their busy lives to do this show at this point in this time in their lives. Before I say my last little bit, no, I'm gonna go ahead and say my last little bit. The topic of this show is when is the best time to have that conversation with your child. And as you see, the best time to have that conversation with your child is right now. No matter the age, you start talking to them about sex and relations and life. Be honest, be open with them about every aspect of it so they don't feel betrayed by you, their parent, for not providing them with that information. Don't wait until you see signs of it. It doesn't have to be awkward. It could be every day in passing conversation. As you see here, those conversations would have been appreciated or would be appreciated. Give to your children what you did not receive at the bottom of the day. That's what it is. Be open, be honest. Sex is fluid, and you're afraid to talk to them about it is not. It's an obsolete object. It is sex. That's how you got here. That's how they got here. That's how this world will keep rolling on because people will continue to have sex and doing it wrong. Uninformed. So be your child's hero and talk to them. Okay, I'm going to stop on that note. Get off that soapbox. I appreciate you guys for listening. This is our Love Passion Project, and we have a valuable announcement that we are putting on a WAP Expo, which is Wellness and Pleasure Expo, in which you will experience this like no other. And there will be more information to come. I'm just putting it out there for you right now. Dates, times. We will be looking for vendors. If you're a vendor and you would like to vend, inbox me or any of my co-hosts, as this is a joint project because we are all a part of the Love Passion Project. And this is to show you how far love will go with a little bit of passion. All right?
Damn.
Anybody have anything they want to contribute before we go? We got a couple more minutes.
I can't take it no more. Can we? Because I'm through Can't cry no more. Look, y'all done.
Yeah, but about the vendor spot, another thing is, a lot of us found our passion and we found we found ourselves during this pandemic. So if you started a small business or you have a product or an idea or anything, reach out to us. We would love to have you and help you. It's harvest time, so come on, let's do this.
Let's harvest. Let's reap.
Yeah.
Let's harvest. Let's reap. Let's grow together. Let's love together. Let's be honest together. Let's just stay together.
They're not. Some people ain't
guys know so much.
Oh God, yes. Thank you, lurkers. Thank you, commenters. Thank you guys for participating. We appreciate you. We love you. And this is our show. Join us next Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.
What the hell? Let me tell them get their ass back on here. We need to talk.
Trying to get out this office. I'm in this office. Okay, get out this office.
I can't see nothing. Them heifers jumped out quick.